Hi everyone. Today we're going to be making this quilt. I'll insert a picture here. Very easy, very beginner friendly. Let me get you the stats. Fabric requirements. For the black strip, you're going to need a half a yard of fabric. You're going to cut that half a yard into 2.5 inch strips. After you cut the 2.5 inch strips, you're going to subcut those into 6.5 inches. Those 2.5 by 6.5 inch pieces will yield you 40 pieces, and you might have a couple left over, but that half yard will yield 40 total. You'll need 40 total for this quilt. For the blue strips, you will need 1 yard of fabric, and you will subcut that 1 yard into 2.5 strips by width of fabric, and then you will subcut those to 6.5 inches. You will need 80 total. You can also use pre-cuts for this part. For the layer cake, you're going to need to take a layer cake, and I used all but one of the squares. So pick the square you don't like the most and take it out of the batch. And you're going to take that layer cake and you're going to cut all those squares down to 6.5 inches. Yes, you're creating scraps with the layer cake, but you can always incorporate those pieces into your backing so that they're no waste. I am not going to show the borders I'm going to put on this, but I am going to put borders on this. So this quilt will measure 54 by 54. It's going to be 9 blocks across and 9 blocks down, and that's why I'm opting to put a border on mine to make it grow. You could make this smaller and make it a baby quilt. This, I haven't sewn the blocks together, but this has taken me about an hour and a half. This goes really fast, really fast. It is a quilt quickie. If you have an afternoon of spare time, you could put this together and have a quilt top done that fast. Baby size goes even faster than that. So very simple pattern. It is just a square and a rail fence block. Very, very classy looking when you add the black. Whatever layer cake you use, choose a coordinating fabric and substitute that for the blue. I had made a baby quilt of this and it went so fast I couldn't believe it. I didn't film anything, that's how fast it went, and I'll insert a picture of that here. And I've made this now twice. You could make this with scraps, so easy, but I do recommend if you make it with scraps, you make the 6.5 inch squares your scraps, and you do have a constant black strip and then a constant, I don't know, substitute for the blue, whether it be white. It could be white, it could be anything. I chose blue because this is koi pond layer cake and it's water related, so I thought that that was suitable for water. All right, to make this pattern, you're going to take some of your stack of your layer cake and you're going to cut these into 6.5 inches. And yes, there is going to be waste on this quilt, so whatever you trim away from your layer cake is going to be going to your scrap bin. So 6.5, and I'm probably going to trim away my pinked edges. So that'll go into my scrap bin. And I'm cutting a stack. I think there might be 2 or 3 in this. This just makes it faster. This quilt will go together really fast. and I want to save as much scrap as I can because I may be able to do something with that on the border. Okay, this is my scraps. So 6.5 inches, and you're going to trim your whole layer cake down. This will give you 42 6.5 inch squares. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of the trimming off camera. Now I have my squares all cut. I cut multiples, and I already have half the quilt done by this simple cut. All right, I have my 2.5 inch strips cut, and now I'm going to subcut these into 6.5 inch strips. Trim away your selvage. And that didn't cut. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and marry my 2 strips together and sew them. I'm going to press to the black, and I'm only going to finger press. After I get all my blocks sewn, I will then press with the iron. So when you lay these blocks out, you're going to notice up in the corner, you're going to go ahead and start with one of your layer cake squares, and then you'll end with a layer cake square. And again, they're 9 across and 9 down. And then your bars, your rail fences, are all on the top row, are all going to run parallel. And then the next row, when you stagger every other block being your layer cake and then your rail fence, the next row, your rail fences are going to run up and down or perpendicular, and you're just going to repeat that all the way down. Thanks for watching.